Chris Abel is here, looking handsome as ever. Someone did tell Chris it was radio, right? You look great, though. I like the hat. You got this is good stuff. What do we got going on here, Chris? Tell me, describe what it is that you're wearing for everybody.
Right. Well, I love replicas of movie props. And so today a package just arrived with a bunch of stuff from Spaghetti Westerns.
Nice.
So I've got the poncho, the hat, and the shooting wrist cuff from Clint Eastwood as the man with no name from the Sergio Leone films. And so I couldn't help. I had to put it on, had to try
I love it.
Even with
I'm
radio,
glad you
people
did.
can't see it. Yeah.
No, I love it. It's great. That's what it should be, man. Hey, man, Chris, my opinion about Halloween, I've never been a Halloween guy by any means, because my opinion of Halloween is backwards. I think that Halloween is the one day of the year that we dress the way we want to dress. And for 364 days of the year, we wear costumes to fit into society. So I'm with you, brother. I'm glad. This is great. Okay, let's get started. Chris likes to bring the new tech, and all the things that tend to change our lives for the better. Maybe not in the short term. Some of these are far off ideas, but it looks like this could be actually a near-term idea to get started here.
I love this. So an engineer in Vermont down in the US, his name is Patrick Schlott. He lamented the fact that since the rise of cell phones, we've lost payphones. And sure, most people have a phone on them all the time, so you could argue you don't need that anymore, but what we've lost is sort of the public phone, the courtesy phone. The idea that if you were down and in trouble, if you got into a problem, you knew that you could just walk a couple of blocks. If you got a quarter, you can make a call and get help. And that's kind of gone. So Patrick decided, as a little personal project, he would scour the online marketplaces, eBay, places like that, and find old used payphones, buy them, and then restore them. Then convert them from being phone line payphones to internet-based payphones. And so he went out to his community, tried to find locations where there were places that had particularly bad cell phone reception, or places where you knew there were a lot of kids that didn't have phones. And so he made deals with some locations. He went to a general store, he went to a library and said, would it be okay if I installed my payphone on your property? And then people can have free phone calls. Anyone who comes by, they can pick up the receiver, they can make a phone call. And he got these locations to say, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. And so he did install these pay phones with a little sign saying free phone calls. And because they're internet based, when you pick up the receiver, you can make a phone call anywhere in the United States and Canada, which sounds crazy. And this has turned out to be a really fantastic thing. He says every month the payphones get about a couple hundred calls. He's gotten a lot of feedback from parents who are happy that their kids now, they tell them, look, if you ever get into trouble, the general store has a payphone. You can just pick it up, you could call, we'll come pick you up and get some help. So it's actually kind of restored something that we've kind of lost. He said the cost is actually minimal. So for the locations, whether it's the general store or the library, they just give him access to their internet service, but then he covers the cost. It's about $2 to $3 a month just to cover the internet connection. And then he says the phone calls, it's about a couple of hundred a month, adds up to just $5, which he's fine covering out of his own personal pocket.
The way you just described that, Chris, makes me wonder, well, why did we get rid of payphones? I realized the copper line wire and the technology was old, but the notion of payphones went away. And the way you just described it is so valuable. Parents would love that.
Yeah, it's something I know that phone companies have tried to grasp with. So this goes back in the early days on Canada-Am. I did a story where Bell was looking at whether they could replace payphones with phones that would just offer free Wi-Fi service or Wi-Fi connections. They tried to do that, it didn't work out, but there was a huge interest in that. The idea that phone companies understood they were losing real estate, that when payphones left, it wasn't something they wanted to lose, they wanted to try to find another use for it. They didn't success with that, but I love the idea that you got somebody like Patrick Schlott coming in and saying as a hobbyist, he'll find a way to do that. And obviously he doesn't mind us telling this story because he's hoping that other hobbyists like him might repeat, and this might go on at other communities and other locations too.
I like it. Okay, good. Get it done. Okay, now I did tell everybody that you were going to share with us, speaking of tracking kids, I have, in fact, a friend of mine was looking at my keychain the other day and they're like, well, what's that on your keychain? And it's just one of those little leather strappy for an Apple AirTag that I keep on there because, the BMW key, and it's an older BMW key, is not cheap because my car is 15 years old. And I don't want to have to pay for a new one. If I get a couple more years out of my car, it's a bonus. but it's grossly expensive to buy extra spare keys. So you want to track those. Even more valuable, depending on the parent, than your car keys are your kids. And we should probably track them too.
Yes, and I know I've heard from a lot of parents because they say, look, we'd love to be able to track our kids, but we don't want to get our kids a smartphone to do that. Is an Apple Watch sort of a good substitute for that? It's lower cost. People have been grappling with this. So Skechers this week has released a new line of kids' shoes. They're calling Find My Skechers. And the idea is that the Skecher shoes, if you open up 3 layers down into the sole, there's a hidden compartment that you can place an Apple AirTag into the shoe. Close it back up, hand it back to your kids. Now you can use the Find My app from Apple to be able to locate the AirTag that's hidden in the feet of your kids' shoes. What I think is kind of interesting is how they've handled this is that the compartment is sealed. You need a screwdriver to be able to access it. So think of like the battery compartment on your kids' toys where you still have to have a Phillips screwdriver just to be able to change the batteries. Well, it's the same thing here. They're making sure that it's not going to be easy for anyone to come and sort of fiddle or tamper with the Apple AirTag. Once you install it into the shoes, guess what? The kids are going to be walking around. You're always going to be able to track them. Skechers is launching this both in the US and in Canada. They've got 5 styles for both girls and boys, different colors, and they range from $68 to $75 Canadian.
It's a great idea. I think it's awesome. Why not? Why not? Why not? How do you argue with just that, right? Okay, so you can track your kids, you know where they are. Even if they're not the kind of kids that are independent going out to the general store like the earlier story, why not just in case they slip away, ping off somebody's phone, you find out where they are. I don't know. I think why not do that? Technology's there. Take care of it. Okay. Real Chris Abel, Krisabel, if you want to check out all of it. And I'm sure he'll post how good he looks in that hat along with his clips here. The last one is millennials tell me that they love irony. And I think that this is more of a let's make some money and celebrate with irony than actually a good idea. But Microsoft has got some shoes.
That's right. And this is unusual for Microsoft. I mean, normally when they do wacky stuff, they're celebrating their 50th anniversary. So they thought, let's release a set of running shoes that celebrate the Windows operating system. And that kind of goofy thing is what we normally expect from their Xbox division with gamers. I have to say, covering Microsoft now for a very long time, this isn't the kind of thing they normally do. They're releasing a pair of Crocs that are decorated in the landscape of the Windows XP operating system. So you have the green lawn and the blue sky. That's what the Crocs shoes look like. And in addition to that, they're offering a selection of gibbets. Gibbets, of course, is the name of the little charms that you can get for Crocs shoes. You pop them into the holes. So they've got a set of gibbets. One is for Windows Explorer. The other one is for Clippy, the little paperclip, animated paperclip that you can pop onto the shoes. So this is something that Microsoft is releasing. Apparently it's going to be worldwide. We don't know what the prices yet are for Canada or what the date is, but you can see the photos online. They're pretty goofy looking and kind of a fun and unexpected way for Microsoft to celebrate their anniversary.
Well, Crocs have once again taken off. And the fact that you can buy accessories for them, they're kind of like a lapel pin that go through the holes, right? There you got to decorate your Crocs. And it's genius.
Yeah.
As silly as it is very genius. Kids are buying them left to right. The kids, my daughter, are like, oh my God, I need a new pair of Crocs. What do you need Crocs for? I just need them, right? So you got black ones, white ones, you name it. Anyway, Chris Abel, as always, you look great. Love the hat. Love the poncho. Thanks for popping in.
All right. Thank you.